Now we have our main activity with some default boilerplate codes. I'm going to remove a few of the stuff, but before I do that, I want to refactor this code a little bit. So I'm going to create a new composable function inside main activity file out of this class. So I'm going to type comp and hit enter. Then it will create a template for composable function. I'm going to give it a name, say my app. Inside our onCreate function, find this set content over here, and I'm going to copy everything, Control W, W. So I'm going to cut everything from here, leaving set content empty, and paste inside the my app composable function. And then inside our preview, I'm going to simply remove this and type my app from here. So whenever we change inside this my app, the preview will show accordingly, and you can open this window. And to see the preview, first of all, we need to build and refresh, but I can do that later. So I'm going to go to this code mode, and from here I'm going to remove this greeting. I'm going to remove this greeting composable function as well, and also I'm going to remove this greeting as well. And from here I will do something else. I will use some other composable functions. Before we do that, I am going to create two composable functions for two screens. I will create or put those files under this UI sub package. So I'm going to select this and click this options button and hit appearance and uncheck this compact middle packages. And then under this UI, by selecting this UI sub package, I'm going to click right button of my mouse and then new and create a new package, and let's name it as screen A or maybe first screen. Just like that, I'm going to create another sub package under UI, and let's name it as second screen. All are in small cap. You have to follow this convention because this is like a package name. So now under this sub package first screen, I'm going to create a new Kotlin file, and let's name it as first screen, and this will be a file. I'm going to hit enter, and here I'm going to create a new composable function, and I will name it as first screen. And inside this first screen, I just want to show a text that will simply show the screen name like first screen, and there will be a button like a next button that will lead us to another screen. And to do so, I'm going to take a column. Inside that column, I'm going to take a text composable function and simply say first screen, and let's provide a font size. Let's say it is 20.sp, and you have to import, make sure that sp is imported in your file over here. So this is the first child of this column, and let's now take a button, and this time you can simply go with button, but I am choosing field tonal button, this one over here. So first of all, I need to provide an argument for button clicks. So on click there will be a function, but right now I'm just providing a lambda for this function. And as a child of this field tonal button, I'm going to provide a text composable function and then simply say next. And also I'm going to define another argument for first screen, because whenever we press that button, we will call a function that we will pass from outside whenever we use this first screen composable function inside our main activity. Okay, so as a first parameter of this first screen, I'm going to add another argument. Let's say the argument name is on button press, and that will be a function. I'm just typing the lambda expression here. This function will simply return unit, and this function will not take any argument as in the parameter list. Okay, and now whenever this button will be pressed, we will simply refer to this argument like this. And if you want to see how it looks like, you can create a preview function over here. So let's say another comp, and let's name it as first screen preview. Okay, and from here simply refer to this first screen. So first screen, we need to provide an on pressed and simply pass an empty lambda block. And of course, we need to annotate this function with preview. Let's say show background to true. And now if we open this pan and hit build and refresh, then we will be able to see this whatever we have done here. Okay, now you can see the preview, whatever we have done here. We can see this as preview 1.1, or maybe we can adjust it and see. Okay, and one thing, that the modifier that we have passed for this first screen, we can use this modifier for this column. So let's, inside the column, this constructor, I mean the parameter list, let's say modifier, that will be the modifier we pass from outside. Okay, and just like this first screen, we need to create another screen. So let's go to our second screen, this package, select this, right click, new, Kotlin file, and let's name it as second screen. And I'm going to copy everything from first screen. I'm pressing Ctrl A and select, and then paste it over here. I don't need this. I'm going to remove this, and let's change the name. So this will be like second screen. And of course, I need to copy this and paste it over here. And instead of this text, that will be second screen, and the button text will be something like back to home. So these are the two screens we have in our hand. And now perhaps we need to go to main activity first, and then inside this scaffold we can simply refer to home screen or first screen as a child of scaffold, first screen. And we need to pass an on click function or on button pressed, simply empty lambda, and then the modifier over here, and the modifier will be the modifier, or maybe modifier dot, let's provide the padding that we are getting from this scaffold, because if we don't do that, the error will remain. Okay, so now I think the error is gone. Another thing we can do, which is I want, whenever the screen or when we launch the emulator on the mobile screen, I want all the content at the center of the screen. So at the center of the screen means if this is the screen, then I want the text that will show the screen name and the button at the center of the screen. And to put all the contents at the center, what we can do is we can use the surface composable function as a direct child of scaffold. So I'm going to remove this line, I'm going to cut it, and as a child of scaffold, I'm simply taking surface composable function. And for this surface, the modifier will be the modifier dot like padding. Now I'm going to use the inner padding here. And also I want this surface to take the full size, like fill max size. And also I'm going to take wrap content size. Okay. And also I can take the alignment, and alignment will be like alignment dot center. And after that, as a child of this surface composable function, I can simply put back our first screen. And in that case, I don't think we need to provide the padding, inner padding over here. So I am simply going to remove this padding stuff from here. The sub modifier will be simply the modifier that we get from outside. And also in the set content, we need to call this my app composable function. And now I think it's time to run this application to see whether it works or not. I think I have put an extra parenthesis over here. Let me remove this. So now the errors are gone. So all files are clean, no error over here. And I need to remove this one. Okay, so I think now it's time to run this application, because since beginning we didn't run this application for once. So I'm going to open run my emulator. So let's hit play. Okay, our first build actually got failed. As you can see in this console, it clearly says that one of the libraries that we have added, the Material 3 Adaptive Navigation 3, that actually requires libraries and applications that depend on it to compile against version 37 or later of the Android APIs, and they're currently compiled against 36.1. That means we need to change the target and target API level, and we need to go to our build.gradle.kts module app level file. And here inside the Android block, you see the current compile SDK version is 36 and the version 1, and also the target SDK 36. So we need to change it, but before we do that, we need to make sure that 37 is already installed in this Android Studio. And we have to go to settings and then find the Android SDK. And here in the list, I can clearly see that I have already installed 37. It is installed in my Android Studio under the SDK platform section. So if you have not installed this, you have to check this option, this Android 17, and then you have to hit apply. Then it will be installed in your Android Studio, and only after that we can proceed to our build.gradle file. But I'm not going to fix it manually. Instead, I'm going to use the built-in Android Studio agent. If you click this option over here, at the bottom you see a button which says Fix with AI. So I'm going to hit that Fix with AI button so that the built-in Android agent will read all the problems and fix it by itself. And it is telling me to sign in to Gemini. I'm going to hit the sign in button. A new browser will pop up, and here I need to sign in. Already I'm signed in with my Google account. Just need to hit this button and it is successful. So let's minimize this browser and go to our Android Studio. To the right, we can see an agent panel, and perhaps we need to click this Fix with AI button one more time, and let's hit it. And now agent is examining all the problems, and I am guessing that it will provide some suggestions, and also it will ask for permission to allow with the fixes. And now it says the agent needs your permission to make changes to app build Gradle KTS. I'm going to hit this allow button. Now hit keep. Once again, hit the keep button. And now it is working, and as you can see, already changes have been made inside our build.gradle KTS file. The code has been changed a little bit, but don't worry, now the compile SDK is 37 and all as well as the target SDK 37, and it's still working. We need to give some time to finish its task. Okay, the now build is successful, and the agent has generated some text. You can read it if you want, but I have no time to read it. I'm going to close it, and then perhaps I'm going to run this application one more time in my emulator, and I am pretty sure this time the app will run successfully. Okay, now we can see our first screen on the emulator, and with the next button, and when we click that, nothing happens because we did nothing with that button. And we're seeing this first screen because we have first screen hard-coded inside as a child of this surface, but that's not what we want. Now we need to convert it to navigation 3, and we need to process the navigation with navigation 3 library. We need to provide the initial route and set up other stuff that is related to navigation 3.